All right, so starting off, big shout out to Huncho Joshi for actually tagging me in this. I did not see this whatsoever, so big shout out to you, my boy, for letting me see this. I ended up retweeting it, and also big shout out to PJ Hoops, but even biggest shout out to the Wemby Show on YouTube, which it threw me off because I was like, there's not many Spurs channels. Like, there's me, TSR, SSPN. That's kind of it. It's not that many. But right here, the Wemby Show. And I was like, oh, a Spurs account. But no, it's literally just Wemby highlights, a bunch of Wemby highlights, which I respect it. I respect the grind. But yeah, we're going to talk about this.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
Wembanyama. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about our boy. So Gregg Popovich, like I said, gave some advice to Victor, and we're going to listen to this. And it seemed like some pretty good advice. I did watch it. It's pretty decent. Nothing really too crazy. But I do have something that I want to talk about because I've been seeing a specific take circle around Twitter specifically, and it's agonizing. It bothers the crap out of me. Before we do that, you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description, or become a patron and YouTube member, only $2 per month. If you don't want to do any of that, okay, you're like, I don't really want merch right now, okay, my Spurs suck. That's fine. If you could, just like and subscribe. That helps a ton as well. It helps the algorithm. And leave a comment, okay? Leave a comment. I can't promise that I get to see every single comment, especially when there's a lot, but just leave it. It helps out the channel, helps me out. And it means the world to me. So anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. Gregg Popovich gives some advice to Victor Wembanyama. All right. There's no caption. I don't know why I thought there would be captions on here. Am I crazy? Let's listen. Oh, wait. All right. I got it on my headphones. I had to make sure it was on my headphones.
I wonder what's going through your head as you go to each new city, each new arena, look at their players, and see what's basically doing basketball. And that's the best way to be. Enjoy it. It's what we do. We just keep working on it.
Look at that respect. All right. So, basically, Popovich, at least from what I'm gathering, okay, if you guys have more context, please let me know. I hate that it cuts out right there. But apparently, it seems like what Popovich was just saying, hey, I'm just wondering what's going through your head as we go to game. I believe this was right before the Warriors game. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure this is right before the... Wait a minute. Who was that? No, that's Keldon. Okay, I couldn't really tell. Hold on, let me look at the... Yeah, it's the Warriors game. You can see this kid with the Warriors shirt on. So yeah, so this is right before the Warriors game, and he was just saying, you know, I'm wondering what's going through your head throughout all this. Not sure exactly what Wemby said, but something in the lines of probably, I just want to try my best, coach, and I'm ready to win some championships. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. But I do like the fact that Popovich is just basically telling him, embrace it. This is what we do, you know, and this speaks volumes. Okay. So there's a couple takes that's been bothering the crap out of me. Okay. I'll start with the more obvious one. So Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs, well, Wemby's been doing fine, but the San Antonio Spurs as a whole, that we haven't had a good season thus far. Like everyone knows it, elephant in the room, blah, 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 whatever, you know, it is what it is. But I keep bringing up the fact that the Spurs just hit the 20% mark of the season. Like they weren't even at the 20% mark. They weren't even at the 15% mark of their games before so many people started just saying how trash they were and how garbage they are and how you have this talent here. How are you not winning games? You have this generational talent. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. A lot of players, when they first come into the league, they don't have a ton of success. All right. Not everybody can be Michael Jordan and immediately go into, go to the playoffs. Not everyone can be Tim Duncan, who goes to a already veteran team and win a championship in just a couple years. Like it doesn't happen like that for everybody. Most of the time, this is what you see. You see a young player come in, especially a teenager, and it takes time for you to figure out his game and you figure out how to build a team around him. It takes time, and it's totally fine that the Spurs are losing a bunch of games right now. Now they need to get some wins, sure, but they also have a very tough season. So I don't understand people saying that. But this conversation right here, I think it proves, or at least not proves, I mean, it's just more evidence towards the fact that this is early in the season and Wemby still isn't necessarily used to it. The fact that Popovich is like, I'm really wondering what's going through your head when we go from city to city like this. He hasn't been in the league that long. It's been barely. He's a little baby in the league. The fact that I think that we got so spoiled with some of his performances early on, where we just made that assumption, where it was the overtime win, going into overtime against the Toronto Raptors, I think as well. We lost that one, but going into overtime against them, the two Suns wins. I think we really had a misconception of what this team is, and I had no idea that we were going to win against the Suns. Like I was like, I don't know if we'll win those. But all of these games, apart from the Memphis Grizzlies game, I wasn't that shocked that we didn't win. So just weird. Just want to get that take out of the way. Now, the other one that really bothers me is I've seen a lot of people say that, and there's a lot of Rockets fans, but it's Spurs fans as well, where when you bring up championships, they instantly go to, that's in the past, bro. Live now. Like, why are you so going all in? 2014, that's a decade ago. 1999, are you serious? That's forever ago. Which, yeah, this is in the past, but you can't pretend that championships in the past don't mean anything today. The fact that Wemby is so quick to listen, the fact that he's coachable anyway because he's just that type of guy. But the fact that he embraced San Antonio so quickly, the fact that he was excited on draft day to go to San Antonio is history. You can't sit here and say that championships don't matter, but in the same light say that it's so great for a player to go to the Celtics or go to the Lakers. Why? Because they have history. They have a history of winning. Yeah, the area works as well, okay? Who doesn't want to go to LA, right? Boston, great place, whatever. But dude, it does matter to have these championships, to have these banners. It's a psyche that goes on with players where they feel kind of a sense of obligation to the franchise that, hey, I want to bring another banner up there. Hey, they can really develop me. Because number one step as far as building a championship team is buy-in. You need your stars to buy in. Your superstars have to buy in. The reason why Tim Duncan worked so well with Popovich is because he had buy-in. That's what matters. You have to buy into the system. You have to buy in to what the franchise is doing. And this whole idea that it's going to be this instant, we're not winning games this season, so I want out. That's insane to me. I don't see how you can fathom that. And that's the same reason why when players do go to places like, I hate to bring y'all up, but the Houston Rockets, they don't get that excited. Yeah, they have a history of winning those championships in the 90s, right? When Jordan retired. Okay, I'm being petty. But yeah, they have that. But as far as their culture and being continuously successful, they haven't had that. So it's kind of up in the air. But players that go to San Antonio, they don't have this feeling of hopelessness necessarily. Now, especially with veterans. If veterans come to San Antonio, they're like, okay, I'm going to have a role here. I can help the young guys and whatnot. But just overall, the culture matters. So this type of stuff is important. The whole idea that, championships don't matter. This is now. Wemby's going to leave. We're not just any franchise. And I will be quick to criticize our franchise like crazy. I promise. I know I sound biased all the time. Yes, I'm a little biased, but I know it sounds biased. But it's based on evidence. It's based on what I've seen from this franchise as long as I've been a fan. I've had no reason to sit back and be like overly pessimistic about what's going on with the franchise. I just haven't. Even the last few years, yeah, we haven't been the best. We haven't been great at all. But dude, when a superstar leaves your franchise the way that Kawhi left, what do you do? I mean, the Spurs, they really just did the best that they could with that trade for him because every team knew he wants out. He's going to LA regardless. And that was an outlier. But other than outlier. Pretty sure it's outlier. It's not outliner, is it? I think it's outlier. That was an outlier. And other than Kawhi, it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened with LA. He thought about it. No, he stayed. Tim Duncan thought about it, stayed. A lot of our players that we pick up in the draft, if we're not necessarily trading them away or we're not necessarily letting them go, they stick around for a pretty long time to develop and everything. So this whole idea that Wemby's just going to bounce, I don't necessarily think so. He's surrounded by mentors. He's surrounded by Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony, David Robinson, great coaches. He's already spoke about how he believes in the coaches. Popovich, greatest coach of all time, most winningest coach of all time. A franchise that's won multiple championships since 2014. Who's won championships? It's literally been Steph, LeBron, And then the last few years, finally the NBA shook it up a little bit. But it's basically been Steph and LeBron for the longest after us. So it's not that big a deal, okay? So I don't know. I just wanted to rant about that a little bit because I do think that this matters. Championships matter. And this right here shows that he is bought in. He does love this team. And it's not this quick, instantly, he's going to be gone. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that if the Spurs just sit on their laurels, don't do anything, in the culture, you have a cultural shift where they're okay with losing. Obviously, anybody would just leave. Like, I understand that, but we do have that safety blanket that we've won championships before. So Wemby is very quick, and every player on our team actually is very quick to point the finger at themselves. They don't point the finger at the Spurs, but they use their thumbs. They're pointing at themselves and saying, what can I do better? Because this is a championship franchise. You gotta have buy-in, and we got that buy-in. So stop tripping about it. It's gonna be all right. It's super early, and yeah, I don't know. It just bothers me. That's just one thing that really, really irks me when people talk about the Spurs. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I love this, and we're going to be totally fine. And Popovich is the GOAT. Screw anybody that says he isn't. But anyways, I'll give it to you guys later. Until next time, man. Bye.